I am Reynelda Jones, a mental health therapist who thinks outside the box. I'm connecting with passionate individuals using their talents to help the community. I call them visionaries and trailblazers. Join me as I connect with them today. Hello and welcome. I'm so glad that each and every one of you are here to watch this interview today. I'm Reynelda Jones, and I am the owner of A Solution B, located in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And today I have a guest speaker with me. Erin, can you say your complete name, please?
Yeah, hi, my name is Erin Eising. I'm glad to be here today. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, I'm glad you could make it. Erin Eising is a licensed clinical social worker. She has 10 years plus of experience working in the field of social work. She also has a practice called Live Your Joy Counseling, and she currently works inside the Counseling Center, West Michigan. So thank you so much, Erin, for joining me today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thanks. Before we get started, I want to make sure that everyone that's watching today, if you have questions, comments, likes, let us know or put it in the chat, and I will make sure that Erin gets it throughout the video or even after. If a follow-up is needed, we can do that too. So Erin, I have been checking you out online. I see you're a pretty busy lady.
Yes.
So can you share with me what is your specialty? Like, who do you tend to work with the most?
I have a specialty in child and adolescent and play therapy. That is my passion. I love supporting families and children and teenagers. I see adults as well, but children and adolescents and parents are my passion.
Nice. Well, we all need that type of support, especially parents and their little ones. So I do have a question though, because while working in this field, I tend to work more with adults. I sometimes hear adults say, well, the therapist was only playing with my kids. So tell us a little bit about what play therapy is for children and how it helps.
Oh, I love that question. Because yes, we are playing with your kid, but I like to think of play therapy as that play is like a language, and the toys that your children are using are their words. Because the way that children process the world and see the world is very different from how an adult processes and sees the world. So when you engage a child in play therapy, you're coming to their level, they're inviting you into their world and what they see and what they experience and their feelings and their emotions. And they're saying, come into my world and see what I see. And so you're giving them a voice, you're giving them a safe space to express that. And so it's much more than just playing with toys with them. There's two different types of play therapy. There's non-directive play and there's directive play. For children 5 and above, I have a more directive play style where I teach them coping skills, anger management skills, emotional regulation. Non-directive play is more led by the child, and you are just there as they invite you in.
So can it take like a couple of sessions before a child actually invites you into playing?
Absolutely. I mean, just like in therapy with adults, like you don't sit down on the chair and pour your life story out to someone. You have to build a relationship. You have to create a safe space and make someone feel comfortable. Children are the same. They are not going to invite you into their struggles and their hurts without having a trusted relationship with you. So the first couple of sessions, if you say, what did you do with Miss Erin? And your child says, I played a game. Very likely we probably actually just played a game because I want to get to know your child and I want them to feel comfortable and safe with me.
Okay, you hear that, parents? So play therapy, your child might be going to sessions thinking they're just playing, but they're really communicating with their therapist, and there's different ways to do that. I think it's great though that we wait to be invited. It shows that there's some boundaries maybe even healthy boundaries there. Like we shouldn't just be
Right.
inviting people into our space regardless of the age.
And I want to empower your child that they have the voice to tell me that, like, if, and they have the control, because oftentimes children feel very out of control and some big adult problems going on in their life, and they don't know how
Yeah.
to express that. And so in the play therapy space, they have some control, and they feel a sense of autonomy, and that can be healing and therapeutic in itself.
Absolutely. So, Erin, I read that you have a couple different approaches. One was basically like the traditional talk therapy that included like cognitive behavioral therapy, which is CBT, or
Yep.
or other types. But I also saw that you wrote that you address the mind, spirit, and environment. So, can you explain a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. I am passionate about when anyone, regardless of their age or anything, comes in front of me. I want to look at the whole person. So we are whole person beings. We are not just our mental health. So when someone comes to me with a host of issues, I'll ask them things about their diet. I'll ask them things about if they have any kind of spiritual grounding practices, what they do that grounds them to the world, like what support systems and networks they have. And I really want to look at the root of what is causing this, rather than just like, oh, you have this mental health diagnosis, here's the standard thing that we do to help you with that. I really want, each person is uniquely created in who they are, and so each person needs a different approach in counseling, and I don't think counseling should be a cookie cutter approach.
Well, I absolutely agree with that. That's why I have my own holistic practice here. So,
Yes.
and I think that's why it's a good fit. And it also sounds like you're very sensitive to what clients need. You're learning about like their whole self, their spirituality, who's in their support, what's important to them. And that says a lot. So it's not like you're subscribing to one particular approach or one particular religious belief. You're all inclusive with
Absolutely.
this client.
I see people from all different walks of life. And I love that. Like I feel like I'm a little bit strange in the fact that I don't consider myself to have a specific niche, because I think when you have a specific niche, you get too comfortable in one approach in one thing, and this is the way we do this for this. And
Hmm.
people aren't people aren't formulaic.
Right, right. It's good that you're able to recognize that and that it sounds like you're very supportive of your clients. So that's great.
I do my best. Yes.
That's great. Can you share a little bit about yourself? How did you come to knowing this passion or this approach to how you service your clients?
Yeah. So I, like you said in your intro, I've been in the field for 10 plus years, and um I think I've, in my own life, been on my own like journey of health and wellness, and um I will try not to go too far off in a tangent, but just like things in our food supply, and how things in our food supply affect our mental health, especially with my son. I have a 6-year-old son, and I started to notice like changes in his behavior based on things that he would eat. And so that
Mm,
led me down my own path of like trying to understand things for my son. And that then translated into how I practice and how I approach other children and other families and even adults, talking about how important the like what we put in our bodies, how we treat our bodies, and the like mind body spirit connection. So that's what kind
absolutely.
of started that for me.
Okay, good. I noticed that a lot of people who incorporate whole body wellness has either experienced something to the effect where they had to look outside of the box, or they knew somebody close to them that did that. And it sounded like that was important for you and your family.
Yes, and still is. And I mean, I'm sure you can attest to like when you start to go down this road and try to incorporate it in your life, it is a never-ending process, right? And it's always
Yeah.
changing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So
That's good though. It's good that you have clients that are, first of all, open to that perspective, and that you're also open to sharing that if they choose to hear that information, or want to learn or be introduced to that information.
I'm really surprised how, of course, I always want them to be open, and if they're not open to it, I don't push it. But I'm always surprised when I do share it, how many people have never had that conversation with a mental health professional, how many people just have no idea how much we're all interconnected. And I think most of the feedback that I've gotten is that it's really helpful to like look at ourselves in that way rather than by our diagnostic labels that are just for insurance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's been my experience. I don't know about you.
Yeah, that's my experience. I think many of the people that come to me actually um, have said like the holistic approach was the last resort. Like they've tried everything. And so they want to at least, have someone that understands that is beyond that label, you
Yeah.
know. So I'm open to it. If a client isn't interested in it, that's fine too.
Yep.
But many of my clients have been open to like at least be informed, and then they can do the research on their own if they want additional information. I'm open to that too.
Right. Yep.
Mhm.
Same.
Yeah. Before we move on, I do want to pause real quick and just say, if you are new to this video or you just came online, I'm meeting with Erin today, and she is a therapist located in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So leave any comments or likes behind so I can make sure that she gets this information. Okay, Erin, so you mentioned insurance. And so do you take insurances? How is someone eligible for your services?
Yes, I take pretty much everything. I take most commercial insurance. I also take Medicaid and Medicare. I am passionate about the fact that your income bracket should not deter you from quality mental health services. And so I also do sliding fee scale because again, like mental health can be really expensive, and I find it to be sometimes a barrier for someone accessing
Mhm.
mental health services, and I don't want that. So I, you know, I have within the place I practice, there's a intake department that schedules all of our appointments. So someone would just be able to call and say, "This is my insurance. Can I get scheduled with Erin?" And it's a pretty simple process.
Okay. Then how can people contact you? Like, do you have your own separate website? Is there another way for them to contact you? What's best?
The best way to contact me, especially since right now I'm technically like closed to intakes, is email. So it's my email, which is Erin at counselingcenterwm.org, and I will reach out like personally to you about scheduling and find out like if I would be a good fit. Another thing that I offer that a lot of people really enjoy is that I do 15-minute meet and greet sessions. So
Nice.
if you're like, yeah, I listen to your podcast and I think you might be a good fit, but I don't know. I like to sit there with you on Zoom or whatever and just have a conversation and see if we would be a good fit. And that's no cost to you.
Now, are you only licensed in the state of Michigan, or are you licensed in other states?
I am only licensed in the state of Michigan. I had a license in North Carolina, but I don't foresee myself ever moving back there, so I let that one lapse.
Okay.
I was
And do
in
you,
Yeah, I practiced in North Carolina for about 6 years
okay.
prior to here.
Oh, okay. Okay. And do you offer virtual, in person? What kind of sessions do
I
you
offer
offer?
both. And also I should mention, because it's not very publicized online, I do EMDR therapy. for
Okay.
children and adults. If you're not familiar with EMDR, it's a therapy that's evidence-based for trauma and complex trauma. So yeah, I pretty much do whatever the client is best for them. So I can see anybody throughout Michigan. So I have people all over Michigan. But my in-person office is an option as well.
So if you're located in Michigan and you're open to working with Erin or interested, make sure you email her. I'll put the email in the area below here. So Erin, are there any events or any like products or anything else that we haven't discussed that you want to make sure you mention today?
I think something that is really that I'm really passionate about for people to to learn about, to know about is looking at your purchases in terms of food for dyes and additives, especially those parents that I work with that have and this was part of my own journey, that have children that maybe have been diagnosed as ADHD or have disruptive behaviors, or are having trouble focusing and being in school. Really pay attention to those additives and those dyes, like yellow number 5, red number 5, blue 30, and one of the things that I really am passionate about recommending for a lot of kiddos is having a vitamin supplement of fish oil or cod liver oil. They might balk at it, but just give them some, something to wash it down with, right? It helps so much in the brain function, the being able to be more calm and regulate your body systems. Your brain needs those things to function, and so I think those are the things that I recommend most, is trying to really look at what is going in your child's body. It's overwhelming if you're going to say, okay, if you're listening to this and I'm and you're I really want to do all this for my family, right? I want to do all the things, but you got to set yourself up for success. So just start with little small steps of noticing what's in your kid's lunch. Just start there, because a holistic journey is a long one. It's a marathon, not a sprint, right? So just start with something small that you feel in control of, and say, okay, for my kids' lunch, I'm not going to buy anything that has, processed it, and I'm going to try for the things on outside of the grocery store aisle.
Great. I think that's great information. And like Erin said, you don't have to do it all at one time. You could do a little at a time. It takes time, but you'll definitely notice the difference once you start introducing things that might be healthier for you or your child. Yes. I agree.
Be kind and patient with yourself.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. Got to do that every day.
Into self-compassion also, and having compassion for ourselves, because life is a journey and it's a challenging one sometimes, and if you don't treat yourself with kindness, then how can you expect other people to do so?
That is true. I love that. Well, Erin, we are almost out of time, and Zoom is telling me that
already. I'm having so much fun.
But we can probably do this again.
I would love to.
Thank you for being here. And again, if you have questions or concerns or comments, make sure that you put them in the comment section below, and I'll be sure that Erin gets to them.